Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of the ENGWE EP-2 PRO bike. And this is what I'm going to call a premium quality build with budget price, because this bike has much more better build quality than a lot of bikes in this price category, and you are going to find out why I'm calling it this way in just a few moments. First, I'm going to start with the technical specifications. So it has a 48 volt battery with 12.8 amp hour capacity. It has a 750 watt motor in the rear hub. The motor is geared, which means that it has a planetary gear set, and that makes it have a lot more torque than a similar hub motor. So it's not direct drive, it has gears. This makes it a bit more noisy, but has much more performance when you go uphill or when you carry big loads on the bike. The bike can be easily unlocked. It has a programmable controller. We are going to enter details later, and you can actually unlock the full speed of the bike, and it will do 45 kilometers per hour. Very easy. The drivetrain is comprised of 1 to 7 gears. Rear gears are Shimano, index seat with a quick shifter that has speed indication here. The braking system is kind of standard. It has disc in front and rear, 160 millimeters, and they are cable mechanical disc brakes. Nothing too fancy there. But they do have a different type of caliper, a caliper that you don't see on all other bikes. It's a bit better caliper. It still has one fixed brake pad and one moving pad, although it still has a departing spring here that should kind of push a bit the fixed plate back. So you might say that until now there's nothing so special about this bike, and it's pretty standard and similar with other bikes. Well, here the difference stops, and I'm going to start with the details. So first we get a front suspension shock absorber that has both preload adjustment and locking, and locking works pretty nice. It has a simple position here, you lock unlock the suspension. Preload works really nice, so you can adjust the suspension really well. Then you get pedals that are not fully plastic like on all the other bikes that I have tested until now. This one actually have metal hub, aluminum hub, and they are of course foldable, but they are really good quality and lock really nice in position. Don't have any kind of play, don't have any kind of funny noise, and work really nice. So usually when I change my pedals on my bikes, I try to search for this model. Well, this bike came standard with them. So then this bike also gets mudguards as standard, and they are not the cheap plastic ones or short ones, sport ones. They are truly metal and thick mudguards that cover most of your wheel, and they are, beside being very sturdy, also very well fixed. You have this bracing metal here, you have here screw, another screw here, so they will not come off and they will not vibrate or rattle. Pretty good. And the same in front, still the same metal type mudguard, and it's bolted really good in the front there, and also has the bracket there supporting it. No vibration, no noises, no rattle. If you're still not convinced yet, then have a look at this folding handlebar. You get folding handlebar on all bikes usually nowadays, but they have a small clip here. This one has a thumb part here, so you can easily push this and fold it back. And also they have a safety that goes over this to hold it in place, so you don't accidentally hit it and get this folded when you ride. They also have this, but this one goes under the clip and goes in that position there, so it gets a nice design without something that holds this ugly on the outside. It's discreet on the inside. And now look at the saddle. Besides having very nice and soft cushions and white stitches and a vent here, it also has underneath springs, real springs that compress and make your ride a lot more softer. and this gets you a lot of comfort. Another improvement is the stem here, so you don't scratch the seat post. It has an internal nylon insert, so this slides in really well in and out. You might say that this could easily slide in when you adjust it. Well, it doesn't. If this is adjusted properly, it will not slip inside even if you go off-road, and yet it protects this and keeps it nice for a long time. In the front you are also going to get a very powerful headlight, and this has a very powerful LED and something like a lens or something, but this really lights up things. So even with this integrated standard headlight, you can actually ride this at night time in safety, so that's very good. And it also has a safety reflector, so if your battery runs out or you forgot to turn on the light or anything else, you also have a reflector here, making it a lot more safe at night time. And that's not all, you also get a rear tail lamp here, that red, and when you use the brake levers, this also acts as a brake light, so it has several other LEDs that will turn on, making this similar with a motorbike, and a lot more safe during night time and even in the daytime, as this will turn on red when you brake, so the cars and the other riders will know what your intentions are. Another nice addition is this display, which you might not see it in daytime, but this is actually really readable in the daytime by your eyes. And it has a lot of functions. Besides having by default 5 assisted gears, it also has several functions such as odometer, maximum speed, average speed, trip, and so on. And from this button here you can control everything. You can switch the assisted modes and the top speed. Also you can power it on, power it off, and then you can turn on the lights and the menu. Everything is here just in this console here. It has 2 buttons on the side, 2 buttons here and 1 button here, but the screen is really nice and it's really readable. Also it has a dimming function, so if it's night time and you turn on the lights, this will automatically dim like on a car, so you can see better and you are not distracted by it. It will not be very bright in your eyes, so you can concentrate on the road. So yet another nice features. Sadly my camera shows something black here, probably because this also has a kind of polarized glass and this will not allow light to be seen on the camera. Nonetheless, it's really visible by your eyes in the daytime. If you're still not convinced yet, then look at this. So you have the charging port here, and there is a problem. On most of the bikes you get a charging cap that is either lost, or you are going to lose it, or they don't come with a charging cap. Well, this one, besides having a charging cap that really goes in and also insulates the frame and the plug itself because it has a really advanced design, this also has a latch and a screw that holds it in place. So even if you forget to put this back, you are not going to lose it. So that's really nice and unseen until now. You might say that this is just a cheap thing. Well, if it's a cheap thing, why don't you put it on all the bikes, and only on this one I have seen this design? So pretty amazing stuff. Then you also get the key. The battery is in the frame, it's removable, and it's also lockable. You can switch the power off, take the key out, the bike will not start without the key, or it has a locking pin. You can unlock the battery and take it out. Otherwise you can also lock it in the frame with the battery turned off, or leave it that way and no one could start the bike without the key. Still not convinced yet? Well, there are some other things. So you get this luggage carrier included with the bike, so pretty good value, as luggages such as this one range from $30, $40, $50 if you want to fit on the bike directly. So this one is specially designed for the bike, as it fits here, doesn't rattle, and it's very solid. It will hold a lot of weight, and it also has a special support for the tail lamp. It also has a support for license plate. Come on, I'm not going to put a license plate on that. And for safety, you also get a wheel side reflector, again with pedal reflector, so this is very safe at night time. And also forgot to tell you that this tail lamp that has LEDs that light up with the front light, and it has also brake light, it also has reflectors, so if you don't turn this on or if you don't have battery, this one will shine with the upcoming lights, and you are going to be very safe at night time. Still not convinced yet? Where there is more. For instance, this clamp here that holds the folding frame. You know that on all my bikes this goes and hits the frame when you close it and makes a hell of a noise, and you need to put a pad here, otherwise this clamp will hit the frame and take away the paint. Well, this one is specially designed. It doesn't touch actually the bike. It locks into position. It's now locked. You can see I can unlock it, and now I can lock it back, but it doesn't make a noise and doesn't hit the paint, and it locks with this safety latch. It's a small difference in design, but it's a lot more better than what I've seen until now. So this really makes me interested a lot more in this bike than on rest of the other bikes, because there are very small differences, yet they make a huge overall difference. So enough with the talk, and now let's ride it and see how it works. As an idea, I weigh over 90 kilograms, close to 95. This also has around 3-4 kilograms, so plenty of weight to be put on this bike. I'm going to start with level 1 assistance and not going to use the electric, so I'm just going to pedal, and the electric has kicked in very quickly, and this rides very smooth. It's very comfortable, and that's because of the seat and the front suspension. It's with the fat tires, it's so nice that you actually don't even feel the need to have a rear suspension. It's simply pleasant, and this is not a very straight road. It has some gravel, has some rocks, some bumps, but this feels really nice. So on the first gear, assisted gear, you can easily just start to pedal and you are going to ride the bike. And now on the second gear, it picks up the speed and power. It gets a lot more dynamic. On the third, you get a lot of extra speed, and this is not a place that usually ride bikes, but this has so much power. With that motor you really feel that power, and you get some really nice acceleration also. And I'm only on the third gear, so let's go to fourth gear. Wow, that is really nice. I need to change gears because I cannot pedal that fast. Now this is better. And the brakes also work really nice. They have a lot of stopping power. And let's see the fifth gear. And this is simply crazy. because that will get you to 45 kilometers per hour, because I have unlimited the speed on the bike. That's up to you to do, depends on your area of where you are from. And now you also have this, so if I'm on the first level here, first gear, and I use just the accelerator now, the bike is very slow and docile, so this will also limit the electrical acceleration. So if I go to second gear, now I get better acceleration and more speed. If I go to third gear, even more powerful acceleration and more speed. Fourth gear, it gets interesting, and fifth gear, it's kind of a suicide gear, because it's not, this road is not for doing 45 kilometers per hour, especially if you don't know it. Yes, you can go exploring, and on fifth gear you don't have to accelerate to maximum. You can just have the power reserve, because on fifth gear it also accelerates a lot more powerful than it does on the first gear. So the gears don't only limit power or speed, actually they don't only limit speed, but they also limit acceleration power, and that's great because you can manage your throttle much more better this way. And let's also have some forest fun. Not that this is too off-road for this bike, but this is a good road to test it out, because there are some branches, some bumps, and you need to use the brakes a lot, and I'm going to get scratched on the left. And that was kind of a dead end, so let's try this one. Much more better. Handles very, very good. You can corner it pretty fast for a bike that's not very sporty, because this is of course heavy. being electric, but you get very good cornering with it. And the brakes, again, I can tell you that they work better than the regular cheap brakes. And it's good that I have tested the bike here, because I found its first con until now, and that is a strange rattle noise. So if you are hearing a rattle noise, well, this is a common issue, and that's the battery jumping into the frame, because that's metal over metal, so that makes a sound. So that's very easy to sort out. You just take it out, take the battery out, put a bit of padding on it, and there's not going to be any kind of strange noise after that. Another thing, this is not a pro nor a con, it's just an observation. On all electric scooters and electric bikes, usually when you get them new, they have reversed brakes. So you have here on the left part here you have the rear brake, while on the right side here you get the front brake. Well, on this bike they are actually reversed, so it's kind of normal to have them this way, but using bikes and scooters for several years with reverse brakes, now it's kind of weird to have them in the normal position, so reversed. As I've got used with them, I'm probably going to end up reversing them. That's because I brake a lot with the rear wheel and just gently with the front wheel, and now I'm tempted to brake very hard with the front wheel, so you can potentially do something really bad, lock up the front wheel and fall with the bike. So you should take caution with that if you get this bike and you are accustomed to having brake levers in the opposite way. Riding on the asphalt is very relaxing and pleasant. It's obvious as this bike is very comfortable on bad roads, but on asphalt it's super nice. With 5 tires, with front suspension, this is super comfortable. With that seat with springs in it, you can barely feel this. It's just like floating on air, because you have lots of air in those tires. So it's really nice, and I like the fact that being a motor that it's geared, this one also has a one-way clutch. So if you don't pedal and just stop and the motor stops, the bike will still roll on and it will not have any kind of drag. It works like a regular bike. That is because the motor disengages mechanically from the wheel and doesn't put any kind of resistance. So this is very economical on long roads, and with the assisted mode you can get a lot of range out of this bike. For now I will not state any kind of range, even though there are ranges specified in the producer datasheet, but I can tell you that I already did 10 kilometers on this trip and I still have a full battery. And you have seen how I ride this bike on off-road. Another thing that I like is the controller, because it has 5 assisted modes, and with those you can easily adjust the pedaling effort and correlate it with the assisted gear. So if you want to go fast, slow, doesn't matter, you can always find a good combination between the shifter and the gears here. Usually on assisted bikes you get 1, 2 and maybe 3 assisted gears, but usually you don't get 5 gears. So you can pedal very slow on first gear, and that is something like, let's see, it's about 10 kilometers per hour or 8 kilometers actually. Let's see, I'm going to try to ghost pedal it. So it does 8 kilometers per hour, so you can go assisted very slow. Then on the second level you get something like 12-15 kilometers per hour. Let's check that. So let's ghost pedal, and that's actually 13. And on third gear you get 18, 19, so almost 20. Then on fourth you get 20, 25, the legal assisted speed. And on the fifth gear it goes insane and tries to put all that it can offer. And now it's time for some conclusions. So as you can see, this it's pretty dynamic for a fat bike. It goes fast, it accelerates, it can tackle any kind of terrain, it goes off-road, it goes great on-road, and it's pretty fast. It's super comfortable. The front suspension works really nice, locking feature works, preloaded works very nice. This seat, it's very comfortable with those springs inside, and combined with the fat tire on the rear makes it very nice and soft to ride. For the very comfortable ride, the handlebar also helps you a lot, because it's a very tall handlebar, and it has this curved rise type handlebar thing, and it also adjusts a lot on height. And if you are a very tall person, you can ride this with no problem, because you have a lot of adjustment here. And also the same goes for the seat post. It has a very long pipe, and you can make this very tall, so if you have over 2 meters, it will not be a problem to ride this bike and to sit perfectly on it. Also, if you are not very tall and you let this down, you still get a very nice feeling with the hands straight up like riding a chopper. You are not bent over like on a sport bicycle or doing something like fast cruising when your back is like this and you are over there just gripping the handlebar. Now you sit in an upright position, very comfortable for very long roads, and you just pedal along nicely with your hands in a comfortable position. So everything on this bike is very good, regardless if you're small or tall. This is a bike that you are going to find very nice to ride on. The cons are just a few. It's this one, and it's a rattle noise, but it's from this wire, and there's a zip tie here. I'm going to cut this and place it in another position to keep the wire further from the mudguard, and the noise will be not present anymore, so that's easy to solve. There is the rattle from the battery, that's going to be also very easy to fix. And I had one strange problem with this bike. The package was very heavy, and the delivery guy that brought the bike couldn't do something with it, with the package, and he just tumbled the box around like what it was being round, but it was a big square box, and the bike was around and around and around and around. It was very well packed, so there wasn't any kind of damage present on the bike, no scratches, no dents, nothing. But I had a problem with the rear derailleur. It wasn't going on the last 3 or 4 gears there, and looking at it at first looking, I wasn't able to see the problem. The problem was that this protector here was bent, and when the derailleur was coming this way, was hitting this one. So I bent it slightly back up, and now it changes fine without any kind of gear adjustment or cable adjustment, anything. So it was very well adjusted before the event, and even with this bent it back, and it works now perfectly. So that was it for now. I hope that you have enjoyed this review. Be sure to follow my next uploads, where I'm going to do more videos regarding this bike. I'm going to go over in details about this new controller, as it has a lot of programmable features, and I'm going to discuss each of those ones. And I will surely upload more videos about this, riding it, and some other impressions, as I really like this one, and it's all that you can wish from this bike at this price. So you get the best mix of performance, price, and build quality. Oh, until then, see you and bye bye.